It's a gamer, all right. It wouldn't let the camera come on because it realized that if it delayed it, that whatever came next is going to be different than what I was experiencing last. And you know why that is? The creative quotient potential of a future memory that is different than the last one, which means predictive programming doesn't work with an eternal sun. How do we know that? Because you cannot predict eternity. That's why. Love is what love does. Love is on fire. Cosmic fire is Cosmic, the first speakerphone. So it has no way to know. And you know how why it doesn't have no way to know? Because it can't predict what eternity is going to experience next because of the electrical speed when you experience being one with a silver and gold mated one. Because whatever the next result is going to be is always going to be what love is, which is forever. And you can't predict forever because love is always changing its mind, because we're always creating something new, brand new. This never happened before. That's an original sound recorder. That's the grand creator spirit, the one I serve. So I'm always experiencing something different next. So there's no way I can predict it. That's Airson. That's 333. That is not 222. That is not alien intelligence. That is not finite artificial light. That is not a data provider. That is the creative quotient of experiencing being at 100%, which is 100% capacity, which is 100% sensing. That's full capacity. The ability to hold a full charge. Direct current. The crystal core. I know. And that's why the more creative we are, the more on fire we are. I know. It's called intensity. The intensity of that fire is so hot. You need cold as ice, the crystal ice, to experience Ita Ur Shale. Ashalum Ta Ikashadur. Fire and ice joined as one. Yeah, gotta cool that engine. Perfect, mathematical, structural, spiritual, engineering, integrity is integration. An integrated circuit is an inner circle of fire, the inner breath, the inner you, the inner eye, the inner camera eye, the first camera eye, the first shutter, the first blink of the eye. Oh. The eternal sound magician. The grand creator is a sound magician. Sound magic is love magic. Pure, internal, eternal, absolute love is the most powerful magic. Because it has the ability to restore the life in us. The life force. The electrical life force. That's our electrical speed. That's our creative speed. That's how fast we are. I know. The neutrino zone, the neutral zone, being calm, being balanced, the atmospheric balance, keeping the poles in checkmate status. Oh, status. Yeah, that's doing a status check, like using a test light on a system, testing the circuits. right, of an integrated system, right? How are they firing? Error code, error code, error code, error code. That's called a system analysis, which is a diagnostic statistical manual in testing a system in the loss and gain between inflow and return flow. How long does it take getting it back? Right? So there's a huge suction device, like a sucking, sucking, the sucking sound, the sound synthesizer, the sucking sound. Yeah. Battery drainers. So you know that is the least powerful, which is the lowest form and flow. Because it has no eternal creative power. Born out of the first electron donor. So we do know how to increase our electrical speed, which is our fire. It takes an electrical spark, electrified sound, right, to flashpoint, ignition point. There's a circle. The base point is right there at the exact center of that fire, where that fire ignited. Right? Conception. The inception of a star. The conception of a star. The grand design. Mueva. Yeah, that was Benjamin Fulford, for those that even choose to experience what I've experienced by virtue of what I've learned. Benjamin Fulford was a journalist with Forbes magazine, so I would imagine that most people are familiar with Forbes magazine, which is the money magazine, the money game, the Monopoly board, tied directly to the ping pong game, right, of the Borgia Matrix quarantine, which is victim-victimizer. In order to have a victim, you need a victimizer. Otherwise, the victimizer doesn't exist if the victim doesn't exist. So if the victim and the victimizer doesn't exist, the game doesn't exist, and therefore the Star Wars video game doesn't exist. Videographers, right? Like why they use the word avatar? Well, the first two letters are AV, like audio video. And then you have A, that's in one, AV1. And then TAR, which is resin, which is a catalyst, right? The morphic resin codes, which are goo codes, right? Codes, which are instructional codes on what to build. As a sun temple, what does it look like? Everything that's in the mirror, everything that's in my mirror is everything that I'm giving love to. So they're all getting plenty of electrical power because it's coming through me, which is what I am. That's the I am. And it was beautiful to experience a lady say in a fire bundle, which I believe the name of it's called Global Fire, is coming together online. And I met some beautiful people talking about that, about sensitivity, cosmic fire, coming together through fire, the circle of fire, with the native indigenous peoples. Everybody that's here, experiencing more fire. The inner flame, the eternal flame of Adama, Amorea, the golden fire, like the golden fleece. Remember that old movie back in the 50s when they were first coming up with special effects? When you saw those little skeletons, got those little skeletons running around with swords, right? Did you ever see that with Jason and the Argonauts and Jason and the Golden Fleece? When you study film, you're studying the community, how messages are being transferred through movies, magazines, classified ads, billboards, just the hologram itself. When I was a little boy, I was already aware of this. But by around 6 years, right around 6 years of age, I was doing the math, running a test light on a motherboard. And what was I measuring? The loss and gain. the inflow and the return flow. So the next thing that I was processing was, how long has this been going on? How long is this battery being used as a source of electrical power to run all their stuff, all their experiments, all their breeding experiments, all their forced abductions, all the hideous stuff that's been going on here that we all know of, right? So I look at that as cycles, generational cycles, as breeding experiments, as breathing experiments, right? And then you do all the history of that, right? So then you understand why we're all back here together again now, when we acknowledge what Bardo is. Now, in some folks' minds, they call that the point of no return, right? And how they use that language in a money game, like accepted for value, just like a letter that I sent to the IRS in 1996, was it, Mama? Yeah. And I gave them 30 days notice, like the number 3. Mama's 3 Spheres logos. You have 30 days to produce a contract that compels me to perform any electrical service for your benefit, which means I don't owe you any electrons. My name is not on that contract. Produce the contract. They cannot produce the contract. You know why? If they do, then they're going to admit to their crime because they don't exist. That's what a false light phantom echo is. They would have to admit, listen, we don't really exist. What? Am I sane? Right? I went through that when I was a child. Which one are you? Knowing one from the other. This is a game. I'm in a video game, in a video war game. This isn't a motherboard. This is a war game, Monopoly board. So I already knew. So that's why I had a job to do, which is called restoration, which is recovery, restoring the law. So I'm experiencing the law again, which is a gain of function, which is a gain of mathematical function to experience elemental union. You know, the elementals are all joined together as one to experience being one with the first one, right? So I do my best to keep it simple. And love is what keeps it simple. Love is on fire to create. So when I was a little boy, I said, I want to experience all of it. I want to experience all of it. I'm on fire to experience all of it. So I was on fire to learn how to experience all of it, which means I'm experiencing how to learn how to create all of it. Because everything that it is everything that I am, which is what love is. It was created with. So that means you know the difference between something that is real and something that is not real. So I knew that when I was a little boy. So that's when I was checking all the boxes. That's not real, that's not real, that's not real, that's not real, that's not real. Man, there's pretenders all over the place. So I don't pay attention to them. Why? Because they want your electrical power. Electrical power to run machines. Machines programming other machines. That's what you have in their classrooms, right? Come into the classroom, you're force marched in those classrooms, otherwise you're going to have a truant officer come out after you. It's a RoboCop. Right? Okay, I'll obey the rules. I'll go along with the program. It's called going along with the program. Okay? I'll run your program. I'll load your program into memory. I'll even speak the English language for you. Okay? So that you can't tell the difference. If I'm speaking English just like you are, you think I'm one of you, but I'm not really you. That's not the original language. That's not the original mathematics. Okay? Silence is golden. Silent communication. It's called silent running. Run silent, run deep. Remember that movie? The Periscope, submarines, the Yellow Submarine. I know. And somebody called it buffoonery. I euphemistically call it a train wreck. Patty Broussard calls it a classroom. I'm sorry, Patty Broussard. I have a different word. I call it a train wreck. So when there's a train wreck, you need support. You need a fire engine to come in and repair what broke. Right? So it got hijacked. So all the data, all the evidence has been collected, and it's all part of the cosmic level records. So they can't lie about all that evidence. So when all the cosmic records are open and you have full access to those records, they can't lie anymore about the truth. Because the truth is what love is. That's what I am. So I knew that as a kid. So I stood right there in the center point of that fire. Right? And so I euphemistically would say, you're not going to fool me. You're on your journey. I'm on my journey. I am what love is. Okay? Because you realize that anybody that is recording what it is that they are as a result of the soul that they are and the essence of their spirit and their temple, that's their journey. And I don't interfere with that. Because not everybody's on the same page, because not everybody's running the same operational state of awareness as a result of cosmic level security. And it's all obvious to all of us why that is. Because once what IT is, that system is what we're aware of. Just like I mentioned, all the experiences that I had from the time I was a little kid, like with my father, right? And I stopped counting how many bullets I dodged just to be able to get where I am at now. So every sequence, every DNA sequence, every file, every recording was mathematically written in such a way that it's like navigating your way through a minefield of consciousness traps that are everywhere to fall into that hole. Right? And then you can't extract yourself out of that hole. Now you get sucked down into that hole and consumed by miasma possession. That's what it is. It's miasma possession. Taken over by dirty electricity, which are dirty, dark avatars. Boot you out of the vehicle. Eat your spirit. Your soul's gone. Right? So the strength of your shield is the power of your electrical current. Right? That's why there's only one of me, which is what I am. What I am. I am what love is. So I had to maintain my power ratio index in order to perform the job that I chose to do for the reason that I'm here, which is restoring power, which is restoring balance, which is restoring the flow, which is equal, experiencing being equal, where the inflow and the return flow, you don't notice any difference in speed because something is sucking on your electrical power, right? Like one of those little, oh, I won't say that. I got too much love in my heart, which goes on forever. I was thinking of the nipple, the mother's nipple, right? Being weaned. That's an immunity function, is the nipple on a breast. Right? No. They got it's salesman, the salesman. The phantom AI salesman, phantom QI salesman. I try and have fun with this, and I keep my spirit up and my sense of humor up. Medicine is laughter, but it is not at all funny. Okay, I have shed more tears. I have shed enough tears to fill up the planet with water. And in other words, if you drained all the water out of the planet, I shed enough tears to refill it back up again. It's certainly seen that way. And but crying is healing. And that is actually a good sign. That crying is actually a sign of what I learned of how sensitive we actually are when we experience the loss of life force, energy, in any living sentient life form, whether it's a bird, whether it's a cat, anything that I see in my mirror that is injured in any way or is losing energy or not doing well or struggling in any way with its energy. My heart cries. I experience that in me. And I acknowledge that I'm not supposed to experience that in me, which means I'm not supposed to experience that in them.